Welcome back. Today we're having our first session for our first climbing session at my home gym, Climbers Rock. This is pretty exciting. We're kind of known for our unique style of super physical boulders, and so I was ready to put all the new strength I've been feeling to the test. We have another section with like some more comp style boulders, but our hard looking boulders that we had up in the gym were on these walls in the front. Just like classic walls made of concrete from like 15 years ago, and just kind of like physical classic style bouldering. So I had a couple boulders on these walls to try. The first one I started with was this yellow one. And so today we were supposed to be doing 2 boulder sessions. I was gonna go to a gym in Toronto, but recently, especially after like all that climbing in Montreal and Kingston, my skin has been feeling really pink. And the comp kind of snuck up on me. It's like already this weekend, so I want to definitely try and preserve the skin. So I just decided to completely cut out my second session today and just do, like I didn't even make this first session longer. I just needed to reduce the volume of climbing to preserve the skin. And it's also nice because at our gym, we kind of have like a lot of older holds, and so it's not too bad on the skin. So what's funny is when I invite someone to come climb at Climbers Rock for the first time, if it's like one of their first sessions, I always kind of joke around and tell them, oh, you're probably not going to be used to the style we've got here. Most of our walls are pretty steep, and all of our climbing is quite powerful. And so I find that most people will take a couple sessions to adjust to the style of setting here. And this is like the first time I haven't climbed here in an extended period of time, and came back. And I was finding that I was experiencing the same thing. And I've been feeling strong in the recent sessions, like for the past like week or two in our boulder sessions. And I was kind of worried that I was gonna crash soon, like I was kind of talking about previously. And I think it might be happening right now. Today was probably one of the worst boulder sessions I've had in the recent weeks. I didn't feel terrible, but it was definitely a step down from the sessions I was having before. And then you combine that with the super physical boulders I was trying, and the pink skin, it really made for a hard session. And especially when I was trying this boulder here, this pink one, a really cool boulder, but it's probably the hardest thing we've got on for this entire program. We have a couple resident strong guys at this gym who are like crushing V14 outside. And so this was put up for them, and I was getting beat up on this boulder. It's like I think I probably stuck like 2 of the moves on this whole climb, and this little crimp that I'm going to here was my fingertip still has not recovered from that super sharp crimp at Block Shop. And so I'm trying to work this boulder because it's like the only super hard one we have in the gym, and I definitely have to spend most of my time on this. But this crimp, I'm just crying every time I have to grab it, and I wasn't feeling super strong, and so I had to try really hard on it. It was a fun boulder to work, but kind of a not super pleasant experience to work this boulder. And I might come back. I think I have one more boulder session at CR, and so I'll probably try it again. Today I was kind of just said, okay, this is kind of out of my pay grade for this session, so I will just try and figure out all the moves. And something that also I've experienced in the past is what I used to do is I would kind of just try to stick to easier boulders, or like try and spend most of my time on moderates in the sessions leading up to an event. It's like just so you can get a lot of sending in, and you want to be confident going into an event and feel like you're just, you're ready to send any boulder that's put in front of you, which is exactly what you have to do when you're in a competition, especially when you have a scramble round as a qualifier, or like in this case, a modified scramble. You need to be able to send a lot of boulders in a span of time. But something that I've experienced in the past couple of years, and I've kind of thought hard about as well, is that sometimes when I do this and then I go to an event and I get smacked in the face with like boulders that are much harder than what I was trying like in the days leading up to the event, I will find that can actually psych me out quite a bit. And so what I also like to do is, recently I've been trying to mix in like trying really, really hard boulders at like my max limit right before comp. And even though I'm kind of getting spanked on this boulder, it's gonna make it so that if there's gonna be some super hard physical boulders, which I expect as well because these are a couple comps coming up in the US, and that's what they're known for. It won't be such a shock to the system to like really have to squeeze hard and try hard. So even though this boulder I'm trying right now and I'm working for like my entire session isn't a comp style boulder at all, you're not gonna find this in the comp. It's just getting my body prepared to try hard. And I think that's important. And especially if the boulders are gonna end up being easier than this, you know, I'll be ready to try way harder than the boulders that are gonna be put in front of me. So yeah, this was a hard session, but I think it might actually benefit me this weekend. And yeah, that concluded this day of training. So we're back the next day, and this day was pretty fun. We visited a gym in Mississauga, which is near Toronto. It's a gym called Up the Bloc, and I would consider this like my second home gym. I came here a lot for a couple years, and I spent a lot of time. Honestly, this is probably the gym where I learned a lot of like comp climbing techniques, just like comp style boulders, and got a lot of different practice in. Probably made a lot of my slab progress in this gym, and just any sort of coordination moves and jumping. They have some great sitters here, and they put up nice comp style boulders. So yeah, it was nice to visit this place again as well. And so the trend of yesterday is kind of continuing in today, unfortunately. I wasn't feeling super hot. Actually, that was a funny choice of words. It was very hot in the gym, and it was combined with the pink tips. I was like so greasy today, and I wasn't feeling super strong either. And this was like kind of a bad boulder to choose under the conditions. These slopers were super hard to hold in the gym. I was pretty sweaty, pretty greasy, and I have just that still one fingertip in particular on my right hand. The pointer finger is still kind of cut and on the verge of blood. And so every time I'm like smacking up to this sloper here on the right, like the crux move, this move here, I'm like trying to walk that balance the line of really trying to commit and try as hard as I can to hold this hold, but also my fingertip is crying while I'm trying to stick it. So that made for a frustrating session where this was probably the hardest boulder in the gym, and I wanted to do it. It's a really cool boulder, and I like sending cool boulders. So I was really struggling not to try too hard to the point where I was gonna rip open this fingertip and screw myself for the weekend. But I also wanted to send this boulder, and I still struggle with this super, like just a lot. And this is actually something Maddie's really good at, and she tries to help me with, and I learned from her in regards to just like not getting consumed by a boulder in a session, and you gotta see it for a bigger picture. Like this is just training. We're training on these boulders to perform well in the competitions, and so I shouldn't be screwing myself over on this boulder by ripping open my fingertips and then making it worse for the competition. But I still struggle with it because I like sending cool boulders. But anyway, I kind of heard Maddie's words in my head, and so I'm like, okay, I gotta stop trying this boulder. I was probably working it for about half an hour, and this was just supposed to be a 45-minute session. So I said, there's like this one other pink tape in the gym. Pink tape is also the hardest grade here. It's like Boulder House, same tape grade system. So I moved on to this other pink tape, which was a really cool looking boulder. I was excited to try this one. I was also kind of scared though. These holes looked like they would be hard on the skin, but thankfully I was able to do it in 2 goes. So my skin didn't get too much of a beat down. But yeah, this was a really well set boulder by Adam, who is the head setter Up the Bloc, and he's great. So I had like 5-7 minutes left in the session, and I said, okay, you know, as a little reward for myself for walking away from this boulder unsent, I'm gonna let myself try it twice more. So both of my tries looked pretty similar to this attempt here. I found this beta where it ended up being easier to skip this like intermediate sloper because it was super bad, and it made for this like kind of super tensiony move where you have to smack up to the sloper and try and keep the heel, and it was frustrating. Every try my heel would just slip, and maybe under like slightly better conditions I could have maybe tried to jump between those 2 slopers, but yeah, I don't know. It was a good boulder, but I was defeated by it today. And so I went a little bit over time because there were a couple cool looking black tapes, which is one grade down from pink. And so I said, okay, maybe I'll put like 1 or 2 tries on each of these black tapes. Like especially this one looks super cool, and I wanted to kind of test my overhead press skills. And so I just added like, a little 10 minutes on to the end of this session. Like I was saying earlier, I like to get on super hard physical boulders to get my body ready to try really hard, especially leading up a couple days up to the event. But like it's also important to get a balance and try and send some moderates too. Like I try to get a mixture of both. So I wanted to kind of, even if I had to extend my session by a little bit, I wanted to get some sending in, get some confidence, like feel good, like sticking moves, and just making sure like, your muscle memory for doing certain body positions and moves is like ready to go for the event. Like for example, I wanted to get on that last one, that green holds climb, because it had that like that kind of overhead press move, and I want like those muscles to be ready and primed and firing for the weekend, especially because it's like kind of like a weakness move of mine. And yeah, like I'll try to, like we have a couple slabs up at CR as well that I'll probably try to hop on in the day before I leave for the event. So it was back to Climbers Rock later in the day for the workout. And today we had the best hangboard that we've had so far. I'm super happy to not see any regression with the hangs, especially because that's kind of what's happening with pinches. They're not feeling so hot, but the hangs have never regressed whatsoever. Today we did, I think 3 of my sets were 12.5, and then 3 sets were 10 pounds. So I didn't dip below 10 pounds today, and I think I was getting like 3 seconds for all my hangs. It was feeling super good. I'm getting a little bit of a better hang controlling the spin as well. It's still like a little bit there. I have to kind of just do little taps now, but at least it's not out of control. You can see the Climbers Rock youth team in the background here. But yeah, I'm so happy that I decided to really start working away at this weakness of one arm hangs, and I'm seeing so much progress. I feel like really confident in my crimping ability right now. And today, especially after the Up the Bloc session, I definitely cut it shorter than I usually would. I reined myself in a bit while I was trying that sloper climb with the black holds, but I don't know if I made my skin worse or just kind of the same, but I actually decided to skip pinch block today, just because it's been kind of really sucking recently anyway, and it definitely does have the potential to make my skin slightly worse when I'm like squeezing as hard as I can, and there's a bit of texture in the wood on the pinch, so I don't want it to like slip through my hands and like mess my one fingertip up a little bit more at all. And it's not feeling super good recently, so I'm gonna skip it for today, but I'll try to do it on our last session before we leave. But yeah, one arms were good today, 25 pounds still, and I got 2 out of 3 reps this time. Last time I was only able to do 1 super solidly, but today I got 2 and they were quite convincing. So that was nice. Jump squats, I'm still kind of, like I feel like the last session I didn't actually pull anything in my hamstring, I kind of just had a big cramp. And so I'm kind of sketched now though, so I'm being kind of careful with these jump squats. You can see they don't look quite as powerful as previous sessions. I still feel like a little bit of something in my leg, but I think it's fine. I think it was just a cramp. And dips today, I wanted to kind of just go all in and say I want to do a 100-pound dip today, but I maybe could have, but this was feeling hard enough, and 95 is still like a PB, so that was super nice. And I found myself when I was really trying hard, I think this is my last rep, I felt like a bit of a pull in my neck, just because like, especially with these pressing exercises, like I find this with military press as well. I find if I hesitate for 1 single second when I'm trying to do these pressing exercises, I will lose my just like power in the position and I'll fail. Like that kind of happened with the previous video when I was failing, one of my arms was failing that rep of military press. It's because I let up for even a second, and so I have to focus on just pushing and pushing throughout the whole rep. And in dips, I found I kind of was pushing quite hard, and I felt the twang, and I didn't have time to like stop myself to make sure I didn't tweak it. I just pushed through the whole thing. I think it's fine, but it stopped me from going up to 100 pounds on the dips today. And I mean, I find this is gonna, I was kind of not expecting this, but I knew it would be a possibility to, you know, we're pushing our maximum weights right now. So this is where you gotta be careful as well. Like this is where you could potentially hurt yourself. So I'm being careful. Like I know these tweaks I'm getting are like super small, but definitely still gotta watch out. And military press was good today. I got all 3 reps at 50 pounds, which was good. I think I only did 1. No, I got 2 last time. I failed only 1. But yeah, I got all 3 like super solidly. And so that's another nice confidence boost in like a muscle group that I'm weak at. I'm seeing improvement. So that's reassuring. So tomorrow's a rest day. And then we have our last double session day of the program. And then, so yeah, tomorrow's rest. And then we have the next day is a very short boulder session in the morning, followed by a workout in the evening where we're only going to be doing 3 sets of our hangs and pinches and 1 set of our other strength exercises. So we're really just going to try and see like how strong we are right now. So it's going to be a fun session. But yeah, the volume will be super low. And like right now we're about to do a rest day and then a train day and a rest day. So like a little mini 1 on 1 off to feel super fresh for the weekend. But yeah, normally I wouldn't do like a workout this close to an event, just because it's kind of unnecessary and it's just kind of just to like kind of get your mind feeling super strong by doing these heavy reps. But we're like Vail is what I'm really trying to focus on right now. Like Vail is the big target, and the jackalope was kind of added in the last second. And of course I want to do well at jackalope, but Vail is kind of where all our eggs are in the Vail basket, because that's worth the points for the Canadian team. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of timing my workout to be like perfectly timed for kind of to be feeling super strong for Vail. So yeah, I'll probably try to get revenge on that pink climb next session. Just like come in and do a short session on the pink boulder. And yeah, I've had a couple not so great boulder sessions, but I've done this enough times in the past to know that I can be feeling a little bit shaky in the boulder sessions leading up to an event. But after a couple rest days and when it's comp day, things can turn around in an instant. And that's happened to me quite a lot in the past. So I'm not too worried and I'm still feeling pretty confident. And it should be a lot of fun to compete again.